G'day, ZiggyD here with a first look at Songbringer, which launches today. This video is a paid promotion in collaboration with one-man indie dev studio Wizard Foo Games and Chrono.gg, who are kicking things off with a 10% discount launch sale. As always, I only take contracts that let me share my personal opinions however I want. I'm just paid to make a video and give your eyeballs a chance to see the game. In this trippy pixel art action adventure, your shirtless space hunk of a hero crash lands on a bizarro world filled with ancient ruins to explore and tiny elephants to do battle with. Songbringer is heavily inspired by the original Zelda games, but the twist here is that it uses procedurally generated worlds. The idea being that this is a game that you play through multiple times with very different experiences each time. When you first start the game, you're prompted to enter a world seed code. I went with ZiggyD if you want to play the same game as me. This code sets the world's generation. Each playthrough with a different set of letters will create a different set of zones to explore, monsters to fight, and items to find. Paired with this, you either have the option of the roguelike permadeath mode or the beginner mode, where when you die, all the monsters you have cleared respawn. After a run or two in the easy mode, it seems like the world seed design kind of pushes you towards this roguelike option to fully take advantage of the variety of experience the game offers. That said, the game is pretty challenging, so don't be afraid to play on the easy mode. Combat is simple at its core: learn enemy attack patterns or movement patterns for non-hostile but still dangerous creatures, and beat them down with this sword. But you'll get beaten down by bosses, exploited by traps, and swarmed by insects, and you'll die. Later on, you'll find more weapons and upgraded swords to change up combat. Timed explosives can be placed for massive area damage, and you also have a boomeranging top hat that you can deal range damage with and pick up items. The game also features massive bosses that you will fight to uncover major character power-ups and progress the story. There's a crafting system to do things like adding elemental effects to your attacks, but in my 2 runs so far I haven't had much chance to interact with that system. As mentioned earlier, the world is generated based on your chosen combination of letters, and the items and power-ups you find won't always be the same, so you'll have to make do with what you can get. Aesthetically, this game has a striking, highly detailed pixel art style. Pixel art is beginning to feel a little oversaturated, to be honest, but at least this game's art is quite unique. At times it's gorgeous and immersive, with highly detailed environments and impressive lighting. At other times though, it's utterly trippy and confusing. I get the impression that that's the intention, to make you uncomfortable and disoriented. One of the healing items you'll find is actually a hallucinogenic cactus, which makes your character trip balls, creating wacky effects on the screen. But this also serves a bonus role of having your character notice things that weren't there before, mind expanding. Like, for example, a crack in the wall that can be blown up to reveal a hidden dungeon. I can see the art style being divisive, because pixel art can be quite noisy, and at times it is here as well, it can be hard to see some enemy attacks and things. But I do think it adds to the experience overall, that the dev kind of seems to be going for, this wacky, confusing, trippy, freaky game. There's a lot of mystery here in Songbringer. The whole game feels like a bit of a mystery. There's tons to explore and hidden puzzles and mechanics that you often just discover by accident. Sometimes you'll accidentally move a pillar or blow up something that'll reveal an item, open a door, or activate something or other. The way the game works, it's split into screen-sized zones that are knitted together like a giant quilt that you explore. Some will have enemies, some will feature puzzles, some dungeons, and some have hidden features that you can uncover, either through dosing on cacti narcotics or through trial and error. Occasionally you'll come across major dungeons which vary in difficulty and theme. These dungeons can be done in any order you like. It's quite open to approach the game however you want. These dungeons feature a series of puzzles, locked doors, enemies, and eventually a major boss. You'll also find some key upgrades as you go that'll give you access to certain areas, like using an ice sword attack to lower pillars by shooting an icicle into them. The whole game just has this really uncanny, bizarre feeling to it, which fits the rather odd world that you've crash landed on. I won't spoil the story elements I've uncovered, but you slowly discover things that explain where you are and what's happened on this world. That said, after a number of hours, I'm still super confused. I don't know what's going on or what I'm doing half the time, but I kind of like it. All this feeling of trippy confusion is exasperated by the musical score as well. The slow cascading tunes create an experience unlike anything I've ever had in gaming. Look, I'm not much of a musical expert, so it's hard for me to kind of describe, but there's this deep, pulsing bass that combines with what you're doing and changes as you move through zones. It's a really odd and unique experience. I love me some dark, deep, trippy sounding tunes that create weird feelings in you, and this seems to be a major part of the game. I did some digging and actually stumbled across a video of the solo developer, he has a YouTube channel, making tunes for this game, which explains things like how all the dungeons have music that is different each time and how the boss battle drums speed up to make it more stressful. Pretty interesting stuff. Well, all this rambling is to say, this music is really odd and I freaking love it. If you guys decide to get this game, play it in the dark with the music turned up loud. Dry technical information now, the game features support for most controllers, Steam, Xbox, etc., and keyboard support where you map each action yourself. There doesn't seem to be a default hotkey layout that I could find, so you have to come up with your own, which is a bit odd. It feels a bit like setting up an emulator for an old NES game. I mapped the movement to WASD and other actions, I mapped to the arrow keys and Q and E. You may need some trial and error to come up with controls you like if you're using the keyboard, but once you do get it set up, it plays just fine on keyboard. The game just released and is available on Steam today, but as I mentioned, it's got a 10% off sale for launch day on chrono.gg. Here's the lowdown. Usually I get a cut of sales through Chrono as an affiliate, but this is my first time doing just an upfront paid video with them. Still, if you guys go through my link, it helps me out, as it shows the value of my content to sponsors, which will help with potential future promos. So, if you're interested in what you see, consider going through the link and getting on the cheaper launch price. It's only a 24-hour link, so if you're watching this video later on, just feel free to check it out on Steam. I'll also take this opportunity at the end here to mention this is the sort of sponsored content that I love to do. It helps fund the channel so I'm less a slave to ad revenue, and I can do more of what I enjoy. Songbringer likely wouldn't have appeared on my radar if not for a paid promo, but I'm glad it did because it's pretty damn unique and I had a good time playing it to make this video. And hopefully you guys can enjoy the content and maybe find a cool game that you might have missed. I can see this game getting a bit of a cult following, similar to games like Binding of Isaac for its replayability, and I can also see it gathering some interest among fans of old school adventure RPGs like the Zelda series. Maybe you guys fall into one of these categories, or you just feel like having your earballs massaged by these trippy tunes and more while you get eaten by swarming alien insects. If so, I hope you guys enjoy Songbringer. I'm going to leave you with some more tunes to play us out. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thank you very much for watching.